Shalom Akim. All all praise goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakwadash, double honors to the apostles and others, great millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty about the full corners of the world. And Brother Korah Allah, this is going to be a quick lesson right before I go about my hustle, my grind, you know. So in other words, a plantation. So this is go right into it. This is Deuteronomy 17 and 15. It says, thou shalt in any wise, it says, start 14, when thou art come unto the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy power shall choose. It says, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy power shall choose. So you can have a king, but the Lord have to choose a king. All right. It says, one from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Right. So if you want a king, you're supposed to set a king from the nation of Israel over you, not a different nation. It says, thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother, but he shall not multiply horses. Right, that was it right there. It said, thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Right, you're not supposed to set a stranger over you, which is not your brother, meaning a different nation. Okay. Now that's going into rulership, but here it is, we're in captivity, and the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, are still voting to put different strangers, heathens, mainly Esau, who's in rulership, voting to put them above you. For example, Joe Biden, today is his inauguration. All right, yeah, our votes don't count because see, a few people know, not everyone knows. But you know, people know that votes don't really count. All right, the elites call the shots. All right, not everybody knows that because a lot of people vote, but these votes don't really count, man. All right, nonetheless, you still have Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, voting to put these, you know, different rulers like Trump, Biden, Obama, all right, above them. That they're not Israelites. Okay. People, you got Jake out here that love Trump, that, you know, love Biden. First of all, they're the wicked. All right. Now, the thing about these different nations is that they might seem like they're somewhat righteous, but really they're not. Okay, because a lot of these different heathens, they lack sympathy. Okay, they lack the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible, because it wasn't given on to them. So what could you expect from them? Wickedness. All right, you can expect wickedness. Matter of fact, so I said that. Let me get the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 2. And it reads, as the judge, I'll start from verse 1. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Okay. A wise judgment instructs his people, and the judgment of a prudent man is well ordered. All right. So if he was prudent, if you had a ruler that was prudent, there wouldn't be a lack of food. All right. There wouldn't be Jakes going to jail for crimes he didn't commit. All right. But who's in rulership? The wicked. Continue on. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And who's really the judge on this in this kingdom? It's not the presidents, the elites, the ones really calling the shots. All right. It says, and what manner of man that ruleth the city is, such are they that dwell therein. Right, and that's how it is. The elites rule it in wickedness. Then they have their officers, okay, who follow their rules, okay, and you have the people in position of authority. All right, and you have, basically breeding down trickling on down to the average Joe is breeding wickedness upon the people. It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right, and we've seen that time and time again with Israel. With for example, King Solomon. All right, he had 40 years of peace. Then you had Joshua, which Joshua became the governor of Egypt, and he got Egypt, and that Egypt through the famine. All right, but now we're seeing Esau. Which people are starving to death, losing their homes, okay, for a fake pandemic, and to bringing their agenda, that new world order. All right, and that's what's boiling down to right now, because you have Trump. Trump is leaving office, all right, but now you have Biden coming in. When Trump left, he spoke about bringing in the max. Okay, you know what the max is? It's the prelude to the chip. All right, and now Biden is coming, and he's speaking the same thing. So nothing's really gonna change. Only thing that's gonna change is that things are going to become more worse. All right, why? Because we know this devil has but a short time. All right, and he plans on getting the job done, his agenda, the New World Order, no matter the cost. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. It says, Shalak 12 and 10. It's Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right? Like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So he's never really righteous. He's never really changing. All right? He's covering it up. All right? Because you got Israel, so-called Negroes, Latino Native Americans, talking about Trump is going to do better than talking about Biden's gonna do better than Trump. Man, here it is. Biden in his youth was the ultimate racist. All right, the ultimate racist, man. Biden has a hatred, a natural hatred, because he's an Edomite, a natural born hatred for the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and he showed that in his youth. So why would you think someone that's been wicked in their youth have become or changed or have become better in their old age? All right, so Biden pull a wool over your eyes, but when he's in the office, like the rest of them, he's going to show his wickedness. It says, Continuing on, just to finish it up, it says, though he humble himself and goeth crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his root rust has not been altogether wiped away. Right? That's why the scriptures speak of being circumspect. All right? Being circumspect. So dealing with the elect, the 1/3, we understand that, Biden is the wicked. We understand that we have nothing but heartache coming our way. All right? But that's fine, because they have to do what they got to do. All right? And when they do what they got to do, that's when the Lord's going to bring them out of power. Revelations, when you go to Revelations chapter 13 and 11, matter of fact, and I'm going to end it here. This is Revelations chapter 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth. He had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. All right, and that beast really is talking about America, which is basically a continuation of the Roman Empire. All right, I read it again. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. The 2 horns like a lamb is going in to the 2 forces, the 2 ruling forces in the Roman Empire. They had the patricians and the plebeians, right? And now in America, they're called the Democrats and the Republicans. All right. It says, and he beheld. It says, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, because a lamb is a humble animal. So you would think that this man is being humble. All right. You would think they're fighting for the people. For example, bringing the max out, talking about they want the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans to get it first because they need it. All right, and then they're taking stage. They're taking stage prescriptions, which they're not really taking it, trying to fool the people. Okay, and then they're talking about a stimulus check, and they're fighting over a stimulus check. And here it is, you finally get some crumbs, and now they're saying, oh, the Democrats won and the Republicans won, or the Republicans won. I mean, here's the thing, is it a game? People lives on the line. Is it a game who wins or who loses? All right, or is the agenda, or should the agenda be to make sure the people eat? Okay, so that's how you know that these people really don't care about us. It says, I'll finish it off. It says, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right, so he's not really for us, but he's gonna come down as a dragon in the form of those draconian laws. All right, and starting to, and such as what, restricting the people from moving around, making things more harsh. So that was a quick one. Hope brothers edified. One, so praise goes to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashem Kakwadash. That was honestly possible. I was gonna millstone. Shalom.